Welcome to my first video episode of Everything But the Song, a podcast about everything but the songs. With me today is my good friend and very, very talented artist, Dawson Gamble. Okay, so Dawson, you are officially my first guest in my video shot podcast.
Honored.
Are you nervous?
Nervous? No, but I do feel honored. Maybe a little nervous. I'm always a little bit nervous around Uncle Tal.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're nervous because I don't want you to get too comfortable. But okay, I'll kind of give a little breakdown about how you and I know each other, really quick, and then I'll talk to you about you.
Sweet.
So you and I know each other through our good friend Gabe Gallucci, who was also a guest on my podcast before we went to video.
Nice.
And I've known you since you were a member of The Chase.
Yes.
We played Boots and Hearts together.
That was fun.
Supporting Justin Tyler, where we had a lot of fun. And next thing you know, we're making music together. And I was like, all right, Dawson's cool. We can do stuff together. And it's gone really well so far. And then you went on your own, and now you're Dawson Gamble, the artist known as, and you make music. And I'm lucky enough to be a part of that. Oh. And I kind of wanted to bring over today because the concept of this podcast is like, look, you go and you promote your music and you talk to people about Dawson Gamble, the artist. I want to know about Dawson Gamble, the person.
Absolutely.
So, just real quick, where are you from? What's your story? What brought you to this dance?
Well, I was born in Markham, Ontario. That's where my mom works. So I was born at her hospital. Grew up till I was about 5 or 6 in Pickering. Moved here to Vaughan, Ontario, and I've lived here ever since.
Sick.
Yeah.
Nice. So you've never really lived anywhere else? Have you ever traveled anywhere else, like for long periods of time? Or
For long periods of time, no. The longest I've been away, I think I went to BC for 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the longest trip I've ever been out of Toronto.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been a Toronto guy.
Yeah, basically a Toronto guy my whole life.
Cool. So, and then with all that happening, what was like growing up, like when you were a kid? I mean, I'm assuming music wasn't the first thing you did. So
Absolutely.
What was childhood like?
Childhood, I was very blessed to grow up in a family that, my parents were not loaded, we weren't rich, but they always had a good amount of money to keep us healthy, to keep us fed.
Yep.
And I always was taught the value of money through them.
Right.
As they never gave anything to my brother or myself right away.
Right.
So growing up, I was taught very core lessons, though I was able to experience certain things that other children are not. I was very fortunate enough to experience those things because my parents had money.
Yep.
Growing up, it was a blast. I mean, I played sports. I hung out with my friends. I was a basic kid. I'm not much to go into there. I played hockey, played a little bit of soccer, a little bit of baseball.
Right.
Regular teeny kid stuff.
So this is the hockey thing. You're not the first person I know. Mike McDonnell, our good friend and the host of the sister podcast, the older sister to this one. He also grew up playing hockey. Another friend of mine who goes by the artist name of Whaley also like grew up playing hockey. Like it's a thing, for me not having grown up here, I see it more and more as like a reoccurring theme. Like everybody plays hockey here. Right. Is that like, was that for you? Was that just like I'm playing hockey because everybody plays hockey, or was that like something you're a bit more serious about?
Well, as I was growing up, I was pretty serious about it. Right. When I got into my early teens, I played AAA hockey. So my family was a hockey family. We were super serious. My cousins on my dad's side, they all played hockey. Everybody always played hockey, loved hockey. Is there like a team that everybody has to root for? Like, we're Toronto Maple Leaf guys, unfortunately, but we are.
Okay. Yeah, I've only ever been to 2 games.
Oh yeah?
And they won both.
Nice.
So I didn't understand why all the hate. I was like, I don't know. They did great when I went. So.
Oh, it's a mess of it. That could be a whole other podcast. What's wrong with the Toronto Maple Leafs?
All right. Well, I don't know. I don't want anybody attacking me.
Yeah,
But,
no, we don't want anybody.
okay. So, and you're saying if the family's a hockey family, like, does that mean like your parents play hockey or your brother? Like, what's the,
Right. Yeah. So me and my brother both played hockey. My dad grew up playing hockey his whole life. His father played hockey. My dad's brother, everybody on my mom's side either knows how to skate or, played hockey in high school, university, whatever it was. So yeah, I just grew up and it was always a game on. Somebody was talking about it. Somebody had a game to go watch, either my friends or other family members. And it was just all around us.
right?
So I found it easy to slip into that hockey player lifestyle and not think too much about it, whether it was what I wanted to do or not.
Right. I guess nobody really asks you that question. You're just like, well, it's there.
Right.
I'm going to go do it.
Right. Yeah.
And do
Especially
it.
when you're so young.
Right.
You
So
know?
what age did you start?
I started skating really young. I think I was like 2.5, 3 when my dad put me on skates. And I first went to that can skate, whatever it's called.
Right.
I first started playing hockey maybe like 5 or 6, whenever you
Okay.
can, Timbits hockey, I guess. And then, yeah, from there, just all up until I was grade 11-ish, so 16.
Right. Was there a particular spot, like a time where you're like, all right, this is, you can remember that period of your life as like you were the most immersed in it? Like that was,
Probably as I was going into high school. I wasn't comfortable in music yet. I didn't have any real knowledge of how to play music or even I just knew how to strum a couple chords and sing. So I wasn't really serious at it. Yeah, that's when I was kind of more into it. All my friends were hockey players. Like I was in that circle.
Right.
So it was easier for me to continue to just live that
right.
life, I guess.
Now, amongst all your friends who play hockey and all that stuff, like obviously, like there's an overlap between that and when you start doing music. Was it a long period of time where you were actively trying to like make music or even just start playing guitar or learning about, music related things and being in hockey? Like, is that a long period?
I would say 2 or 3 years.
Right.
The first 3 years of high school, I was playing hockey, and I was also in the arts program at Westmount, which was my high school.
Okay.
So that's when I was really introduced to this is how you build a song. This is how you build whatever. And that's when I really started immersing myself in music. And then just slowly throughout those 3 years, realizing that I wanted to spend more time in my bedroom playing a guitar rather than on the ice.
Yes, yeah.
That's when it kind of happened.
Was there a shift in the way you're perceived by your friends when you go, I want to start pursuing music and I'm not really into hockey anymore? Like, was there a shift there?
That's an awesome question because there was for me. I mean, I feel as though I played at a high level for my age.
Right.
And I was never like the all-star on the team, but I could keep up with them.
Right.
And I think it was kind of, for me, I saw it split right down the middle. Mm-hmm. It was either, because I have people who still message me today about my music saying how much they love it, and then I played hockey with them. And then some guys I don't talk to at all, or, they unfollowed me. Weird things like that you do.
Right.
So I would say I saw like a kind of split right down the middle. 50% were like, forget this guy. And then half were, it was weird. But then at the same time, 50% of those people that did stick around and support me were people that I never thought would. The kids that I never really talked to on the team. And that kind of showed me what music can really do.
Right.
Because I maybe never talked to that kid once on the team, but now he heard my song and, we're chatting on Instagram DMs or whatever it is, just catching up.
And these would be people who like heard you through like the high school stuff, right? Like who you guys would perform?
Mm-hmm. Through the Chase, they probably heard the Chase stuff first.
Right.
Maybe like saw a show when shows were a thing. Yeah. Something like that.
Remember that?
Yeah, remember that back in the day?
It is September 29th, 2020. So no shows yet. Not for us at least.
Not for us, no.
So, but okay, so you're saying like you really felt that shift. Now, so you said you went to the arts program. Mm-hmm. What compelled you to do that? Was there always like an interest in art or in music or anything like that, or was that just like something that suddenly happened at the age of whenever?
Definitely always had an interest in music, but as I said before, I never practiced it. I just sang in my basement, strummed a guitar.
Right.
So I was always around music, and I always loved listening to it. I was a fan of music. Mm-hmm. I think as I met my first friend who was like a musician, David, who was also in my band, The Chase.
Yep.
He was a performer before I even ever thought about it. And, he told me, oh, I'm going to this school, Westmount, you should really like try out for it. So I went to go try out for the arts program at Westmount for fun. Not thinking I'm going to get in, not thinking I'm going to do it. I'm just like, whatever.
Right.
Might as well try it.
Interesting.
And then good thing I did, honestly.
Yeah.
Because
well, I mean, it's strange to me, like, to think about you as somebody who I appreciate and admire, like, as a real deal musician, and thinking to myself, like, oh wow, at that age you almost like tried the music thing as a goof, and you ended up like really pursuing it. So that's kind of crazy to me, because like for me it was like, I don't know, I had a very special, I don't know if special, but like I had my own kind of way where, fourth or fifth grade, I just kind of realized that's what I want to do. And I'm very lucky because since then it's been everything I've been doing. So it worked out. But like the fact that other people just kind of almost like stumble into it, it's always weird to me.
It's super
always
weird.
Yeah. Like, especially if they do it at a high level where I'm like, oh, okay, like you're real, like you have real skills and you have real, like, with you, especially on the writing side, you show up with songs that I'm like, damn, man, like I've been writing music for years, and I have many more years on you, but like yet you'll show up with things that I'm like, damn, man, where was I at that age? Like, how did I not get that? Like, this is something you could do and you could write this way. But
thank you.
So for me to think that like, okay, you just kind of ended up doing it is it's always a weird thought for me. But
definitely is weird.
So you try out for that Westmount program, and you get in.
Yes.
Wow.
So, I don't know how.
Like, what are they like? They send you an email, like.
Yeah, I think it was like a letter in the mail or something. And I remember actually trying out for it, and none of the songs were in my register. So I had to sing half the song, keep going back and forth between the octave low of the melody and the actual melody.
Right.
And then afterwards, the main teacher told me, she was like, well, we have a lot of students who are serious about music. Took me through that whole spiel. So I didn't even think I was going to get in.
Right.
But then, I don't know, somehow they just...
Oh, that's weird.
It was really weird. It's really weird.
But you'd think that if you were going back and forth between octaves, they'd probably...
I thought it was cool.
They'd probably think like, oh, this guy knows that it's too high, but there's a lower octave.
You never know. Maybe, I don't know what they were thinking, but...
Interesting. Well, maybe you got lucky. Maybe
maybe that maybe it's an understatement.
I don't think you got lucky. I think even if you got like half the song, the way you probably sang half the song, they're like, all right, this guy's got it.
Right.
We just can't let him have it like that.
Right. You can't just give it to him.
Yeah, exactly. We can't tell him like, all right, you're amazing.
Right.
We'd love to have you. They have to save face.
Right.
But okay, cool. So you go into Westmount, you go into the music program. This is you're how old now? You're
grade 9. So like
9.
what?
Okay.
14, 13, 14, 15,
Right.
whatever that year is.
I'm 35, man.
Who could tell?
But
something like that.
okay, so you start that program. Is that where you meet the guys from the Chase, or I know you knew Dave from before?
So I knew Dave from before. That's where I met Cheyenne, the other member of the band.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of slipped into it. There was never an official like, let's be a band. It was kind of just, we were all in the same class every single day,
right,
singing together. So we kind of just decided why not do it when we're at home just hanging out.
Right. Cool. Okay. So you guys start making music together, and you're still studying, like you're actually studying music in school. So you've got basically school, you've got this band thing that you do as a, I'm not going to say extracurricular, but it's just you hanging out with your friends,
of course,
making music. Are you still doing hockey at that point?
Yes. I'm still doing hockey. First 3 years of high school, I was still playing hockey.
Right.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a weird time for me, honestly, because I started to not like it.
Right.
After going to high school, I was like, oh, I don't want to go to practice today. I don't want to play this today. I don't want to do this. I just wanted to start hanging out with my friends and playing music. So
right. I remember talking to you once, and you said that you even spoke differently. You were like, I can't remember what you said, but I remember thinking like, oh my God, I cannot imagine you.
Yeah,
like
it was weird. Like,
you said you spoke like a hockey player.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I just kind of, the only reference I have is those two guys from Letterkenny.
Oh, well, that's perfect.
Is that you?
Basically, I mean, a bunch of bods and stuff like that.
So that was you.
That was me. Yeah, I was the
Amazing.
kind of the D-bag hockey player is what I
Wow.
like to say. My past self, different me.
So, it, do you think that like going more into music, obviously hockey is like, it's a super, aggro kind of game. It's very physical. It's
Hmm.
very, it's very testosterone driven in
Right.
that sense. Do you think that personality wise after that, like obviously aside from like talking like a hockey player from
Hmm.
Letterkenny, uh, do you think that personality wise you kind of felt a shift going into like arts and like writing music and talking about
Definitely.
emotions and all that?
100%.
Right.
100%. Um, and I mean, nothing against hockey. It's just that you're more of you're just a brute on the ice,
Yeah.
just
No,
skating
you're an
around,
athlete.
right?
You're working with your body, less
Right.
with your emotions.
Right. And then you go sit down in a basement and you kind of open up and become this different person.
Right.
So it was definitely weird. Definitely something to adjust to.
Right.
But honestly, I'm thankful that I grew up playing hockey for so many years because I do feel that it implanted some kind of traits in me
Mm-hmm.
that, just like the hardworking, the stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, what do you think you took from it that you then translated into the music world?
I would say that just like the not getting knocked down too easily, the hardworking, the, um, you get hit, you get up, keep
Right.
skating kind of
Right.
thing. I think those kind of mentalities I've kept with me
Mm-hmm.
through this music thing because, I mean, mentally, you both have to, you got to go through a bunch of stuff
Oh yeah.
to get to a goal. If you're going to be in the NHL, I mean, you're going to
Yeah.
get bumped around a bunch.
Yeah.
And
Well,
if you're
there's
going to be
there's
a
a
musician,
perseverance that you have to go
perseverance,
through.
exactly. That's
Like
what I was looking for.
you're training really hard. Your coach might be, letting you have it, and you might be just really harsh with you.
Hmm.
Or in a game, you might, I don't know, like I will sound so stupid if I talk about hockey because I know nothing about it.
Go for it.
It's people on ice hitting each other really hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely to reach a level of skill, you must have had to go through a lot of time and effort and just basically like you're kind of enduring pain.
Hmm. A little bit.
Whereas with music, you might be enduring pain, just not physically.
Physical pain, yeah.
It's an emotional thing. But yeah, I can definitely see how like that kind of, like I said, feeling of perseverance and
Mhm.
just sticking through something in
Right.
hockey. Well, yeah, it'll take you to that place. So here's a question: you coming from the world of being the d-bag hockey player and now to sitting in a basement with your two friends talking about emotions to write songs, how was that? Like, was that something you had to kind of get used to?
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely. I had to get used to it as an adjustment, but it felt honestly freeing. Like I felt like, oh, this is what I enjoy doing more.
Mm.
I would rather be doing this. I would rather be digging into the emotional side of pain or whatever you want to call it than
Right.
digging into the physical side and beating up my body.
Right.
And I don't know. Once I started writing music seriously and, loving the songs that I wrote and taking pride in them, I just found how much more I enjoyed it.
Right. Was it ever embarrassing? Like, were you ever like in the room with Sean and Dave and going like, I don't know if I can talk about this, or I don't know.
So, yeah, slightly. I mean, it was always harder to share with somebody else than yourself, right? When you're
Yeah.
sitting and writing alone, you just let it all out.
Yeah.
It was a little bit weird, definitely, because you don't do that with your hockey player friends, at least not mine
Yeah.
that I had. So yeah, there was definitely a time of adjustment in my life to just kind of get over it that it's awkward, get
Right.
over it that it's not comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, like, knowing your songs, there's definitely, it's not very hidden. Like you're not hiding anything when you're writing. You're usually, it's very clear what the song's about. It's very clear what kind of a feeling you have and what kind of an experience you went through that brought you into the song. And to me, it's always like, oh, that's very revealing. And I think it takes, it takes a certain amount of guts and a certain amount of like, I don't know if it's confidence, but it's just maybe just a sense of freedom that you're like, nope, I can talk about this.
Yeah.
This is what's happened. Is it something like, were the relationships you had with like your buddies who play hockey?
Mhm.
Were there ever like, did you feel like there was a similar sense of depth? The only reason I'm asking is, um, in my very very early years when I was like 18, like every Israeli good boy, I went to the army, and the people I was with on a day to day basis, like, you get really close
Right.
because there's something unifying you. You're a unit. You're a team. You know, we're not playing against other hockey players. We're playing at war,
Right.
but but
Little bit
still,
more
it's like
serious.
you're 18-year-old
Right.
kids, and you form these bonds, and you talk to each other, and you really like, you really become close to each other, and you trust each other. But I don't think I could have ever like, you know, spoken to them about like, here's a song idea.
Right.
Like I'm right. Like I would never play them a song that I wrote about, this girl that I was trying to date when I was in
Absolutely.
the army.
Absolutely.
So was there any similarity like that in hockey? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I never wanted to like talk about it. I never really
Right.
did talk about it. I mean, obviously, if something serious was happening in your life, they're still your friends and they're gonna be there for you. But it's hard to be like, hey guys, like I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't fun
Right.
for me. I don't enjoy this. Like I'm leaving. I'm gonna
Right.
go sit in my basement and play music. I mean, I understand it's not what a lot of people would want to do, or I guess can do. So
Right.
it's if I couldn't play music at all, it would be hard for me to get over. Like, oh, bro, you're gonna leave us and just gonna go sit in your room and play the guitar? Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a little bit, like,
because I'm assuming they're also like, because you guys are all on the same team, they're probably like relying on you in a way. They're saying
somewhat,
like,
yeah.
hey, we need you at that whatever. I think you said you were an enforcer.
Yeah, I mean, I was not a goal scorer, that's for sure. So,
I don't know the difference. Enforcer just sounds good.
enforcer. Okay, we'll stick with that. I was an enforcer,
Is that not what you said?
something like that.
So-
I was just always in the corners, just like
Right.
battling, getting the puck out to the center so somebody else could score, type of
Gotcha.
thing.
Okay, but you're like, I'm here, and I'm got a job to do.
Mhm.
You're not getting past me.
Right, type of thing.
Yeah. From that to I can't get myself over you.
Right,
Is a long road to travel.
right.
So
Definitely.
Cool. So okay, so you do high school, you do hockey, you finish high school. Obviously, you guys pursue the chase. During that time, what's life like?
I mean, at the time it was fun. I mean, you're just I was 17, 18, finishing high school.
Mhm.
The band was like doing okay on Spotify, I guess, and like we were getting a couple hundred streams here and there.
It did
So, I
more
mean-
than okay for a band that just kind of came out and
Yeah, I
had
mean,
no label support, nothing. It's just you guys really with Gabe.
right.
And
Basically, that's what it
that's
was.
it.
Yeah. So it was exciting. I mean, I was so young too. I had no idea what the industry was like. I had no idea what being a musician was actually like.
Mhm.
So it was all brand new to me. So
Right.
I was just excited, looking forward to it. It was, looking back now, it was obviously a little bit harder to work with other musicians every single day.
Yep.
Because opinions, you know what I mean? People want
Yeah.
songs differently, this, whatever it's going to be. But it was fun for the most part. I had no problem with it.
Right. With like the actual, because you basically went from, okay, like this is a high school thing, like we're doing it
Right.
when we have the time to then going, oh, this is everything we have time for right
Right.
now. Like there's nothing like, you I don't know about Dave, but you and Cheyenne were working, like you had like a day job type thing.
Yeah, some Von Mills
Yeah.
9 to 5 type thing.
Which miraculously you could take time off of anytime you wanted.
Exactly.
basically. I'd be like, hey, when are you guys free? You're like, whenever you want us to be.
Whenever.
Okay. That's good to know. Okay, so you guys, you're doing that, you're making music, you're working as little as you have to. What's going through your mind at that point? Like, are you looking at things and going like, okay, I'm starting to set goals, like I want to. It's always been interesting to me because I never got the chance to just go, okay, high school's done, let's jump right into music. There was
Right.
like a period of time where I had to do something that I didn't want to do.
Right.
But for you guys, like you wake up in the morning, like what was your state of mind? Like get after it, or
Yeah.
like just figure out what's going on? Like
Basically, just get after it any way that you can. I
Mhm.
mean, any way that we could. Like you said, there wasn't much else to do at that time. I was working like couple hours a week
Right.
besides music, right? So everything was just bettering yourself, bettering this, bettering that, our sound together. Yeah, it was all about, I mean, in my mind at the time, I was probably like, oh, we're going to be the best, we're going to be the biggest boy band in the world type thing.
Right.
Um,
Which is okay. I mean, everybody thinks like,
of course,
if
you got to have
don't-
dreams or else.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a thought, or at least, you know, the notion that you could get pretty far, or far enough. Like you know, for me, I never really thought like, oh my God, I'm gonna, you know, win a Grammy and be on whatever. Like I just thought like, damn, I think I can do this, and I think I can make this my life.
Yeah.
That was my thought. But like, I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking like, oh, we can be the next big thing.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, especially for a kid, right? I was still like 17, 18. Not that I've grown much from then, but
Sure, but you've grown enough.
right,
Like you've
grown enough to
you know,
kind
like you've understood what you didn't know then,
right.
and what you know now. I
Right.
mean, I'm 35, and I look at when I was 30, and I go, my God, you're really dumb thinking that at 30, and thank God you're now 35 and you don't think that.
Right.
So that's, you know, I think it's just, you know, my back in Israel they have a saying like, life is a school. You go through it every day of your life, but then you die stupid.
Life is a school. You go through it every day of your life, and then you die stupid.
Yeah, like you're constantly learning. I'm
Right.
probably butchering it, but
Something
I'm
along
trying to
those lines.
translate it, but it doesn't always work.
that's
But
okay.
it's basically like
I get the gist.
you study your whole life to die stupid,
Yeah.
just to die thinking like, oh, here's everything I didn't know.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, but I'm really interested because I would see you guys at Gabe's studio, and you guys would always show up, and I'd be like, man, these kids are always here. Like they're always, you guys in the, I'm maybe tracking guitars for Gabe in the main room, and you guys are in the live room, always just guitars in hand, writing, doing stuff. You know, you might be sitting on the sofa with the guitar. Sean might be walking around singing some lines. You guys sing back together. Dave might have the guitar. Like, it seemed like you guys were doing it every single day. Like, was that something that was deliberate? Were you like thinking we have to get together every day, or was it just like just the power of like your I don't know, that was like the movement that you were going in?
I mean, I think for me personally, how I felt was just like, this is what I want to do now. This is all I want to do now. So I'm just going to do it every day as long as I can throughout the day. I mean, I don't want to speak for the other boys, but I'm pretty sure it was the same for them as well. We just all had that kind of drive to just, what else are we going to do right now?
Right.
Let's just go. Let's just go and play.
So what part of it was just the music, like the writing? And were there any other things that were involved in it that you're like, this is a part of doing this, and we have to put the time into that as well?
So kind of like something I didn't want to do that I had to put the time in, are you asking?
Sure,
type of
yeah.
thing? For me, it was guitar playing. I always wanted to be a great like guitar player, and I still do, of course, still learning every day.
Yep.
But I mean, at that time, I literally like G, D, E minor, C, like the four chords.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you want to learn an instrument, want to learn anything, you got to practice.
Right.
So for me, one of the hardest things in music was just like sitting down, forcing myself to just like,
Just work at it.
just work at it and do scales, do little stupid things, right? For me, the songwriting always kind of came naturally.
Right.
And then after the vocal program, I kind of understood how to use my voice.
Right.
So for me, it was really that instrumental part of it. I want to learn just as much as I can.
Yeah.
And I still have a little bit of, you know what I mean? I got to go sit down and practice right now. Got to go do that.
Yeah. No, I think you, from what I sort of gathered, knowing you for however long I have, you're always tinkering. You're always like trying to figure out something new. You'll sometimes come up with a song where I'll you'll play something. I'll be like, oh, that's a really cool riff. Like, and you're just like, yeah, I don't know. I just jammed it out, and then that became a part of this song. So I think maybe back then you were starting to get used to the fact that this is a part of it. Like you have to sit down,
Definitely,
and you have to work at being a better musician.
absolutely.
And I don't know if this is going to be like an educational message, but I don't see a lot of that. Like I see a lot of people, I've been playing in bands here for like, I don't know, 10 years now. And you'd see a lot of times, like you'd see people who are kind of sort of, they're one dimensional. They play their style that fits their band. They don't really kind of progress much past it. And a lot of times it becomes like you see players like that and you're like, okay, you're that guy or girl who could just do this. And
Right.
And now a quick word from our friends and sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by Hailed, which is a coffee shop located at Yonge and Gerrard in the downtown Toronto area. If you are a coffee drinker, you must try Hailed. They are ranked consistently among the top 10 coffee houses in Toronto. Visit the store and support local Toronto-based businesses. Be sure to place your order at www.hailed.ca. This episode is also brought to you by Flickly. Thank you, Richard Atkin, friend of the podcast. We really appreciate your support for the Canadian music scene. Rich is the founder and CEO of Flickly, a premier video animation studio, working with large brands and enterprises across the globe. Learn more about Rich and his work at Flickly by going to the website flickly.com, FLIKLI.com, and connect with Richard Atkin on LinkedIn.
We're back.
We're back. We were talking about how, how I remember experiencing this whole thing with when we did Boots and Hearts together, and you and Sean actually ended up being the backing band for Justin Tyler. I was playing guitar, you guys were singing background, and you were playing the band guitar.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just that was just kind of like a good, proof to me that you can be versatile and you really put the time and effort into like growing as a musician and kind of just doing different things, which I think is a very, very important thing. I think it's, you never know where you're going to end up as a musician. I grew up as a heavy metal guitar player who then went into jazz fusion, and I end up playing in like, when I joined my older band, Ascot Royals, it was like an indie rock kind of almost pop band, which I never thought I would ever play, but it's just, it's the ability to adapt and to kind of really change yourself or fit yourself to the situation, because I really like the people. And I really like the music they were making. It's just, that wasn't me at that point, but yeah, I think it's really important. So moving on, I just kind of wanted to sort of get an idea of, between, you went from The Chase to becoming Dawson Gamble. Obviously, I don't want to get into like what caused the shift. But I think it was a good shift. I think, what you've done since is, musically speaking, it's, I think it's awesome. I'm like I said before, really, really happy, proud, lucky to be part of it. But also, like, I wanted to sort of talk about how things are for you today. Like when you do this stuff, I know that our good friend Dennis Lipman is basically your, I don't know, manager, social media strategist, genius, in-house genius. Like, what else can we call the guy? I don't know.
That's a good term, in-house genius.
In-house
I like
genius,
that. Cool.
He'll basically solve any problem you have and come up with ideas. Yeah. So, what's things like today? Like when you wake up in the morning, what comes to mind? What are you like? What are you trying to get after?
Right. Just getting better every day. Just trying to get that 1% better than you were the day before. Whether it's songwriting, singing, guitar playing, just being a better person. Yeah. Like making sure I work out every day. Just kind of like growing myself as a human. Getting myself to a part where I'm happy with myself and just happy with who I am and comfortable and confident that if I can do music, then I could do whatever I want and I could be the man I want to be type of thing. Just becoming that person, you know what I mean? Becoming the person you see when you want to see yourself.
But it is the man you want to be. Like there's nothing, it might sound like a cliche, but it's not. Like it's want to be, you have a vision of how you want to be, how you see yourself. When people work out, it's not because they're like, oh, somebody told me I should. It's like, no, this is how I want to be. Right. So yeah, no, I totally agree with that. When you're not making music these days, what do you like to do?
I like to do a bunch of stuff. I like to hang out with my friends, obviously, and just chill, talk, grow each other. I feel like my friend group is very, not spiritual, but I would say forward thinkers. Right. So I feel like we're always able to bring each other up, bring ideas to the table without feeling like it'll get shut down. Right. Whether like music aside, just
Yeah.
life ideas.
Yeah.
I love skateboarding, sorry.
Yeah.
I love playing sports, whatever it is now. I mean, I'll basically try to play anything. Anything that brings like me joy in the day, I will try and do as much as I can throughout the day, besides music.
So I know that you and Landon, your brother, you guys skate. I know that for sure because one time I came to pick up a bass from you, and he goes, "We're going to the skate park." So I
Right.
was like, "All right, you guys skate." And I know your buddy Aaron Lugassi, who's like all I see on his Instagram is him either skating or snowboarding or just doing crazy stuff. So is there anything that like, this is an interesting one. If you didn't have music, if tomorrow something happened, God forbid, we turn into a country where it's illegal to make music, what's your next passion? What's like a big thing you'd be into?
That's an amazing question. Besides music, I would say, I mean, I love cooking. I think I'm pretty passionate about cooking. I'm not really good at it. I like it though. I love.
Would you like to get better at cooking?
Definitely. I always ask my mom, whatever it is, how do you make this? How do you make that? I wouldn't say that I don't know if it was a passion that I would go into, but I guess if there's no music, I might consider it. I like being outside.
Right.
So I think if I couldn't do music at all, or maybe it wasn't a passion of mine, I would look for something that includes being outside a lot.
So maybe you'd make those Instagram videos when you go up to a mountain.
Maybe.
And you cook like you make one of those like
outside
like over the fire grill thing.
Yes.
I've watched so many of those videos.
So many of those.
Crazy.
They're addicting.
It's a little embarrassing.
That's a good idea. Maybe I'll steal that. Maybe I'll just forget about music and just go do that.
I'm saying if you ever need a partner, man, it's
be chopping up some stuff in the forest together.
I mean, we're allowed to do that. We can't play shows, but we can go up to a mountain and cook.
Okay, so let's do it.
All right,
this
cool.
weekend.
Well, we'll make plans and we'll let you know what we're cooking. But
a new vlog coming soon.
Yeah. So, let's say tomorrow the pandemic ends.
Yeah.
This is something I've been asking a lot of my guests, and I think it's what's on my mind, but I'm sure it's on your mind too. Like, say tomorrow, no more pandemic, we've got a vaccine, we're good to go, do whatever you want. What's the first thing you're gonna do?
Oh, try and book as many shows as I can, whether they're tiny, on the street, I don't care who's watching.
You just
play in front of somebody. Try and collaborate with as many people as I can now, because I feel like that's also been difficult. You know, someone you don't know, it's hard to be like, hey, let's meet up now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird.
Don't know how safe it's going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's been harder to do that. Definitely try and just collaborate with as many new artists as I can. Write for as many people as I can, play for as many people as I can, whether I'm just, like you said, role playing in a band, filling in for somebody, like anything that will put me in the conversation. Right. I think.
Okay. Is there anybody that you're like, man, I really want to write with this person, or I really want to go watch this person play live? Like, is there anything that you think this pandemic situation kind of held you away from, and that you're like, you know what, this is one of those waking up kind of moments where I'm like, damn, I didn't do this. This is on my bucket list. I really have to go do this because I don't know when this is going to be done. And if it's ever done, then, and I'm going to get the opportunity to do it again, I have to go do it because I don't know if we'll go into something like this again.
Right. Sorry. So first part of your question, I would definitely go, have you heard Ren for Short?
Yeah.
I love her music.
You played me her stuff. Yeah, she's awesome.
Love her stuff. She's great. Neon Dreams is a Canadian band that I also love listening to. Kadima.
Bunch of assholes.
Honestly, for me, it's just about local talent. Like, I just want to collaborate with as many people as I can, whether I'm writing a song for them that I don't even sing on. I just want to be in the room with musicians. And obviously that's been hard to do.
Yes.
So I would say collaborate with, just find new people to sing with and write with. I feel like that makes me better.
Yep.
I feel like that can make other people better.
100%.
So I would definitely want to just go out and meet new people.
Might be able to help you with that. I know a few
so?
other musicians. So,
well,
no, I've actually, like, all jokes aside, I've been thinking about this as well, just as a as a recent thought where I have a lot of friends who are, you know, maybe in your position, or like they're musicians who are just kind of they just got going, they released some new music and they're super talented, but they're all like, they can't play shows, they
Right.
can't do anything. What do we do? And I was like, man, maybe I should get a bunch of them together and just kind of go, hey, why don't you guys go make music together?
That'd be an
You're all
awesome idea.
awesome. How about you go be awesome together and see
Cool.
what happens?
That would totally
So,
be awesome.
It's I'm just letting you know, it's a thought. You might be getting a phone call from me
Well,
soon.
I will
so.
be answering that phone call.
Nice. Okay, cool. Is there anything that you would like to promote? Anything that we should share with the audience? That you're like, hey, go check this out, go do this. I mean, I can tell you right now, if you just type in Dawson Gamble on Spotify, there's plenty of stuff to listen to. But anything coming up, anything like future plans?
Definitely. I have a new single coming
Mm-hmm.
out, and I haven't really even announced it yet. So
Ooh.
I have a new single coming out.
World premiere.
Real premiere.
Heard it here.
I will leave the title out of it,
Yeah.
but I'm super excited about it. I think this one really showcases my talents as a songwriter, as just like an overall musician. I'm excited about it. Other than that, yeah, you can find me on Spotify at Dawson Gamble, and I don't really have much else to promote. I mean, I wish I had something to say, like come out and watch me play live here, but I don't. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have an Instagram page.
yes,
And it's awesome. There's also a lot of really funny stuff there. A lot of fun, not funny, but fun stuff, I would
Cool.
say. Um,
glad you think it's fun.
I love the fact that you just go and you tend to pick locations that are super cool. Especially with this pandemic, like again, you can't play shows, can't do anything.
Right.
What do you do? Well, you go on a deck by the lake in a cottage,
Yeah.
and you play one of your songs, or maybe you play it inside. Or you're really showcasing what you can do in an indoor environment, and it's kind of live off the floor. You're just doing it, and I really like the fact that you're just showing without the production, without
Right.
the bells and whistles. You're going
Right.
like, hey, if you come see me tomorrow and tell me to play you one of my songs, this is what it'll
Right.
sound
This
like,
is how it'll be.
and it still kicks ass.
Right.
So I'm super happy to see
I
that.
appreciate that. I'm glad. I mean, I do love. I mean, that's like one of my favorite things, if not my favorite things, is of the music aspect is just playing live and singing for people.
Yeah.
So I think that those live videos really showcase that I can play live, and I love singing live, and
Yeah.
I always love when there's little tiny mistakes in those things.
Right.
In those live videos, just because
Yeah.
it makes it so much more personal for me.
Oh.
It's just like, oh, like, yeah, that's true. That's what I did. That's how it is. I messed up.
100%, dude. You're so right. I don't know when you're making a mistake, because I'm almost thinking like, oh, maybe he's just playing this way live. So I don't know, but
Good, I played it off right then.
yeah.
Because I was probably definitely messing up.
You could be playing a song that I produced, and I'm like, oh, this sounds like it's his live interpretation. So I don't know where you're veering off of what you meant to do and where you're doing what you meant to do, but whatever. Either way, it passes with flying colors.
Awesome.
But the other thing I was going to say is, just this past Sunday, Jimmy and I did like a live stream, and like on Facebook through Wavelength Festival. And it went great. It was a lot of fun. We haven't done that in a while, and it's always fun when you could just do it from your own home.
Right.
But then I watched it after, and there's like this one chorus that every time we come back in, Jimmy hits the wrong chord, and I'm like,
no.
at this point, I'm not even like, it doesn't do anything to me other than make me laugh and go, I freaking love this guy.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just, he will nail an entire song, like zero, not even like a little off on a note, nothing. Just, and it's compelling and it's awesome. And I'm like watching and going like, yeah, this guy kicks ass. And then this one chord, I'm like,
Oh.
you just have to remind me that you're gonna do that.
That's an awesome
But I love
story.
it. I've like, nobody ever comments on like, oh, he got that chord
Yeah,
wrong.
because it's
Like,
real. That's what people.
Yeah.
I think that's what it makes it so much more real.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think real is that's what we need a bit more of. There's so much curated stuff that, you know,
I agree.
I'm really, really proud that us musicians, when we do those live shows, we can't put a filter on it.
Nope.
Like, we can't get the bigger butts and lips.
Yep.
It's what we got is
Flat
what we
as it
got.
is.
Awesome. Listen, Dawson, thanks for doing this. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
talking to me. I'll probably have you back here at some point when I
Absolutely.
don't know, the world opens up and we've got some more stories to talk about
Definitely.
from playing live. I don't know, having a snowboarding accident or
Oh, you never know
whatever.
what's gonna happen.
You never know what's gonna happen. So we're gonna get back together and talk some more.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thanks so much, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Much love. And this has been the first episode of the videotaped Everything But the Song. I don't know if that's even the camera I should be looking into. So, hey, we're trying. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll share all the links to Dawson's music and all that stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. Much love.
Awesome.